So with NFL news, I know if you notice. So Micah Parsons, he was traded recently to the Packers. Now, everybody that knows, like Micah Parsons, one of the best pass rushers in the league, one of the best defenders in the league. I don't understand why this contract did not. Jerry Jones should have been finished with this contract. And there was a lot of people when Micah Parsons was trying to get his contract done, people thought he was bluffing when they were like, okay, I'm gonna request a trade. And then he requested a trade and people were like, okay, maybe he's just trying to put the timeline on the Cowboys. But now looks like the Cowboys was like, well, we're gonna take this trade offer. So last I checked, the Cowboys accepted two first round picks, and Kenny Clark. This is the problem I have with Jerry Jones and these people, right? Jerry Jones just recently dropped a documentary, and he talks about his regrets with the situation when he had a Super Bowl winning head coach in Jimmy Johnson. Because Jerry Jones didn't get enough credit, he felt like, as an owner, behind Jimmy Johnson's success as a coach, he fired his Super Bowl winning head coach because of personal issues. And he's been paying the price ever since. The Cowboys haven't even reached an NFC championship game in 30 years. And it's because Jerry Jones, he wants to do things his way, no matter what. No matter what, he wants things his way. That's it. It doesn't matter if it comes at the expense of the team. He's doing things his way. This is why, like, where I like most of the times when I see the Cowboys leading a headline, or you'll have these shows on ESPN or FS1 and they talk about the Cowboys, I always say this: I don't watch those segments because anybody with two eyes knows what's the problem with the Cowboys and what's the problem with most bad organizations. Most of the times when you're talking about bad organizations in general, usually there's a bad owner or a toxic owner that is interfering with a winning culture, especially when it comes to sports. It's usually there's a toxic owner or owner involved. One great point that they brought up when it came to the Knicks, right? When it comes to basketball, the Knicks' recent success, Dolan, the owner, was away on business for most of that season. And it's ironic where Dolan takes a brief sabbatical, not as an owner, but he was just away from New York. He was away from the team. And all of a sudden, they look great again. The New York Knicks look decent again while he was away. Bad ownership is usually behind bad teams. And Jerry Jones, I'm not saying he's a bad owner, but he is a toxic owner, which is still bad, but meaning it's not that he makes bad picks per se, because he's made some decent picks in terms of being the de facto GM of the team, right? As well as the owner. But because he's a toxic owner, since he chases headlines, he chases headline success, not domestic success. He doesn't chase championship success. He chases media headline success. The team is going to suffer, even if they have great players. So with the Micah Parsons situation, he let his pride get in the way again. And in the documentary, he talks about his regrets of letting his pride getting in a way of being in a winning situation with Jimmy Johnson, because he wanted most of the credit. And he felt a way that the coach that he hired got most of the credit, even though he's the owner. But Jerry Jones, he can't help himself again. I'll say this: Dallas took a lot of L's this year. First, you had the Luka Doncic trade from the Dallas Mavericks, right, to the Lakers. And then now you have basically, if not the best pass rusher in the NFL, or at least a top 2 pass rusher in the NFL. You lose a young superstar stud to a NFC contender, to a team that the Cowboys lost to in the playoffs not too long ago. 2 years ago. Not too long ago in the 23-20-24 season. Not too long ago. And now that you just lost a premier player, a player that can that is great at rushing the passer, but he's also very flexible in how he plays. But his signature is rushing the passer. And you lose somebody that can get to the quarterback, somebody that's been carrying that pathetic Cowboys defense for the past couple years now, and you lose him for a 30-year-old Kenny Clark at the DT position and 2 first-round picks. First of all, those 2 first-round picks ain't gonna mean nothing because the Packers gonna be making deep playoff runs, unless if they think they're gonna be struggling. What use is a pick at number, first round pick number 28? Because the Packers, they're gonna be making deep playoff runs, especially now that they added Micah Parsons to the mix. Their defense is gonna be elite. They're always gonna have a great running game. Last I checked, they still got Josh Jacobs. They still have a strong running game. You still got LaFleur calling the offensive plays. You have Jordan Love still room to improve. He's probably going to take that next step this year. He wasn't able to make that next step because he got injured in the first game last year. But this might be the year he might make that first step and that next step. And if Jordan Love makes that next step, he's an MVP like talent type quarterback if he stays healthy. I believe in Jordan Love to me, if he's healthy, he could really make an MVP case for himself. You still got the same wide receiver core, if I'm not mistaken. I think they have one injury into the wide receiver core. But usually when the Packers make like especially a defensive signing in free agency or they trade for somebody, they usually make a deep playoff run right after. You're talking about at least to the NFC Championship. So I think the Packers are going to make a deep run this year. This is a great acquisition. Micah's perfect for that team. He's perfect. So I will say this. I know there's a couple of AFC teams that might be kicking themselves because they're like, damn, if Jerry Jones traded Micah Parsons to a NFC contender, they're thinking that themselves like they probably could have got something for cheaper. They probably could have given Jerry like 1 first rounder, or they could have gave him 2 first rounders, and then like somebody like of lesser value than Kenny Clark, because Kenny Clark at his best was really good. He's a really good player. Don't get it wrong. At his best, even elite sometimes. But Kenny Clark and 2 first rounders for Micah Parsons, that's not enough. That's a loss. I need more than that if I'm going to let go of Micah Parsons. If I'm going to let Micah Parsons walk out the door, I need an equal value exchange, meaning I need Myles Garrett and 3 or 4 first rounders, something like that. Or if you're going to give me if you're going to give me a player in exchange of Kenny Clark's level, you got to give me at least like way more than just 2 first rounders. I need your future second. I need your future third rounder. And maybe you got to give me at least 2 more. Like remember when the Rams made that trade, or they had that trade or something? It was like how many first rounders for how many years that they gave up? I need something like that, because Micah Parsons is a premier player. You're talking about a player that potentially can go into the Hall of Fame. I'm talking about at the rate that he's at. His first, homie, hold on. Let me see how many, because he's already in his 3rd or 4th year. He's already two-time. He's already made he's already a 2-time All-Pro player, and he's only been in the league for 3 or 4 years. He's basically making an Aaron Donald-esque run in his career. You see how like Aaron Donald, he comes in the league, rookie defensive player of the year, back to back Pro Bowler, back to back All Pro. Like Micah Parsons is on a similar type run, and you don't let go of players like that. I'm sorry.